Hello, my name is Christian McKenzie, otherwise known as A Fluffy Goomba on the internets. My pronouns are he, him, and I am an award-winning TTRPG actual play performer, educator, and event coordinator here in the space. And last year, I made a silly little tweet with a bonkers idea about wanting to show the bigots and the racists of the Star Wars fandom of the community that no matter how hard they tried to deny us and to keep us out of the space and out of the fandom, BIPOC individuals exist. And we're going to prove that we can tell stories better than they ever could. That tweet somehow managed to snowball as the folks at Taletell Hearts and the folks of Obsidian Brews and myself managed to gather over 50 BIPOC individuals to tell 10 vastly different stories for a 24-hour live streaming event, the first of its kind, with that number of BIPOC individuals, proving not only to the Star Wars community, but to the TTRPG community as well, that we exist, and to say otherwise is a lazy lie, to deny the greatness of our storytelling prowess and potential. We are not just the sidekick. We are not just the best friend. We are not just the prize. We are not just the rival. We are not just the sage for all your worldly advice. We are not just second billing. We are the hero. We are the worst nightmare that gives nightmares. We are the plot. We are the inciting incident. We are the climax. Over the next 4 days, we are the protagonists. We are the antagonists. We are the story's beginnings, their middles, and their ends. Over these next 4 days, the galaxy far, far away will feel closer to home for everyone here, coated with language and dripping with culture. Over the next 4 days, Star Wars is our story. Star Wars is our playground. And to the players, just remember, your stories are worth telling. Not just these ones, but every single story you tell beyond this weekend. Every word from you matters. Every bit of emotion, every motivation, every fear, every criticism, every praise. And at the end of the day, also remember, they hate us because they ain't us. May the Force be with you, and enjoy our show. Hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a galaxy far, far away. My name is Hector Reyes, aka Okami, or at Keiichi Okami, all over the internet, and I'm going to be your facilitator today. Today, we are raising funds for the Marsha P. Johnson Institute, an incredibly important cause for helping trans people of color, support them, give them what they need to thrive, because Black trans lives matter, and it's important that we acknowledge and respect that, because if none of us are free, if one of us aren't free, then none of us are free. So please, if you can, donate. There are some really great incentives that are going to be in the chat that you can impact play. But without further ado, let's kick this off. We're going to be playing Haven, a game of witches by queer designer CM Rustat. I probably pronounced that totally wrong. It is a belonging outside belonging game. It is diceless, it is GM-less, and it is all about witches. Let's go ahead and introduce everyone to this coven of force witches that we're going to be portraying and the people playing them. I'm going to go ahead and start with Diego. Diego, tell the people your name, your pronouns, and your character and your character's pronouns, and then popcorn it over to another player.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone. My name's Diego F. Salinas. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing the newcomer Rovin, also using he, him pronouns. Very excited to be here. I've never played this type of game before, so I'm excited to branch out from my comfy, cozy little corner of D&D 5e. Why don't we go ahead, kick it over to Bendy.
Hello. Thanks. Hi, everybody. My name is Benny Mitchell. My pronouns are she, they, and I am playing Kizzy, the eldest. Her pronouns are she, her. And I'm also very excited to be a part of this. This is my second year with the BIPOC Star Wars Day, and this is an incredible group of folks, and it's an honor and a privilege. Popcorn Garnet.
Hey y'all, I'm Garnet. I will be playing Nuria, the Unburned. So that's going to be super exciting to incorporate into this fantastic story. This is my first time also playing Haven, so if I have questions, just bear with me. And then I will popcorn over to Heather.
Hi everybody, my name is Heather, she, her pronouns. Today I will be Celia, she, they pronouns, Barley, Warden. And I'm excited to be here. First time.
All right. So, without further ado, I would like to explain Haven a little bit to our audience. All of us have gathered together and collaboratively built a haven. This haven is on an outer rim planet, a forest planet by the name of Cyrus. And in this haven, this coven of, for lack of a better term, force witches has taken refuge for generations. The haven has a number of aesthetics that we will be embracing. This haven has thick mists, a wild seaside with gray skies, industrial buildings from specifically the Clone Wars Republic era, ancient shrines, and cliff-top structures. There are 3 concerns that this community of witches are facing. 1 is dreams of ruin. 2 are hunters from the First Order, as this story takes place during the Resistance period of episodes 7, 8, and 9. And, last but certainly not least, most deeply concerning, the head of their coven, the head witch, is missing. As we step forward into the story, each player at the table not only has a character that they are bringing in, but they also are assuming narrative control of a setting element. The first setting element are the whims of the thread, or magic, or the force, depending on who you ask. The whims of the thread. Magic is alive. The thread is alive. The force is alive. A strange, dark thing of great power and eldritch desires. It changes our world in ways we cannot even imagine. For this tale, its desires are dreams, secrets, and balance. Which one of my players is holding the thread? Would that be you, Bendy?
Sure. We'll say that the eldest is holding the thread.
All right. Next is the dark forest. Now, mind you, this is both literal and metaphorical. Here, the forest, dark and deep. These are the woods where all manner of beasts and spirits roam. They lie on the outskirts of the haven, ever present. The desires of the forest are to keep secrets hidden, to feed, and to present other paths. Which one of the coven is going to start off as the steward of the dark forest?
I think I can take that one.
All right, then. Next are the buried sins and secrets. The world is strange and mysterious, and the secrets of this place run deeper than anywhere else. The past is hidden, but for how long? Its desires are a way in, to be found, and the last laugh. We have 2 members of the coven who have not spoken up. Which one of the 2 of you would like to take up narrative stewardship of buried sins and secrets?
I can take that one.
All right. So, we have 2 left. So you're going to get to decide which one you would like to start off with. So I'm going to describe both, and whichever one you don't choose, Shrub, I will take up. We have the Witches of Haven. These are our people, your people. They've provided a place you can be yourself. Be free, be safe. This is our haven. The Witches of Haven desire peace, healing, and second chances. The second choice that you have is the Village Beyond, or rather, the Galaxy Beyond. Watch for the people the normal ones that don't allow us in as they steadily encroach upon our planet. Can they join us? The galaxy beyond desires control, magic, the Force, and rulership. Which of these two would you like to have narrative stewardship of starting into the story?
We definitely discussed my character being somebody who's much more focused outward. I feel like taking the village beyond.
Okay. So, this is a very important tip to remember. At any time, you can switch these, you can put it down, you can switch with me or another player. General rule of thumb, and this one's gonna help with you, Shrub. You don't want to directly interact with your own setting element. You want another player to be portraying, or me, that's a facilitator, portraying the setting element. So any NPCs you generate, if you want to talk to them or interact with it, you're welcome at any time to put it down and someone else can pick it up, or you will always have a free switch with me. We can bargain. This is an open narrative table. So keep in mind, all of the setting element moves are free. You don't have to spend tokens for them. Also keep in mind, the setting elements are always there. So if a couple of player characters go off to have a discussion in private, the rest of us can still interact with the story via setting elements. So there's no off time at the table. Does everyone understand what I mean by that?
Yes.
Excellent. So, we begin, I believe, at night, surrounding a crackling fireside. Kizzy, the eldest, has just finished an evening ritual gathering. Kizzy, tell us about your character. Read off what you've chosen from your playbook, and then give us a little robust description of who
Okay.
you are.
All right. So now when you say read off, do you want me to read off the traditions and all of that, or just
Yeah,
the look
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Let people know,
Okay.
who your character is.
Kizzy, named after Kizzy from Roots, go watch it if you haven't, is a long-haired, weathered, but knowledgeable, wise crone amongst the coven. She is the eldest, but has a small grouping of elders that are kind of always pittering and pattering around with her. She upholds traditions not particularly upheld by the rest of the coven due to the amount of years that she's been around. Don't ever ask her. One of them is the endless song passed from elder to elder. It is a mysterious and long-held tradition. And the 3 dark days, which we are currently in the midst of, 3 days of power cultivation that takes the collective energy and unity of the entire coven to fully facilitate. But there are magical mysteries that happen during this time. Her legacies is that she has a very good relationship with the spirits. If you ever see her talking to herself, she's not. And a magical bloodline that stretches back to the length of the coven's existence.
So the camera kind of hovers on Kizzy. Is there any other description? What is she wearing? What is her presence like? More so than what's on your playbook.
Kizzy has this very healing yet soft presence about her. A lot of the younglings in the coven kind of gravitate towards her, and when she's not spinning, tales, she's actively spinning magic for the children. She has these very long, sharp orange nails, and if you get a really good look at her hands, they don't actually match the age that you see on her face. She's very monochrome, grays, gray and white, and kind of bundled up in shawls. And there's something about her that is both old and young at the same time.
The camera pans from Kizzy, and it moves around the fire to Nuria. Nuria, the Unburned. Share with us the choices you made on your playbook, and tell us a bit about who your character is and what they look like, in addition to what you have chosen for your pick list.
So Nuria is very intently staring at the fire. She has a very passionate face, and you can see that as she looks at the element that nearly took her life. Her nails are cracked and unhealed properly. And she was once beautiful, but now covered in just scars everywhere. She went on a pilgrimage once upon a time ago just to see the galaxy. Young kids, they always want to go off and see the world, and so she left. Unfortunately, her force magic abilities were not seen as something to be honored and treasured, but they were seen as practicing black magic, and so that's where all of the scars came from. She managed to get home and escape. Unfortunately, there is still a silent priestess that is chasing her. She will see this woman in her dreams. She will see images of her in the forest when she goes to collect water. It is something that she has learned to live with and has, for the moment, been able to discern whether or not these images are real or visions of something yet to come. She has long locks that she refuses to cut that have been burned for when she was attacked, and it is used. She keeps them long, and she keeps all of that burnt hair on herself as a reminder that no matter how much good you try to do, sometimes the help is not only unwanted but shunned. She takes long strides when she walks to get towards, not just physically because she's tall, she's a very tall woman, but also very focused. So those long strides are not just due to physicality, but due to focus.
The camera lingers on your expression, staring into the fire, before once again it moves around and falls upon the next coven member. Visalia, tell us who you are. What did you pick on your playbook? And tell us more, if you have more, about what you look like, what your presence is like, in addition to the choices that you made as the warden.
Absolutely. So, Visalia, I think as the fire comes around, you see the flames kind of behind them are facing outward, doing something they are known to do best, which is watching. Visalia has a weathered face. with a scar going through one eye. And although they have a strong voice, while they are within their coven, they are often someone of very few. They have some defenses that they rely on. There are skeletons in the walls of this coven, and there are watchful birds in the forest that help them. And they also have quick wit and a silver tongue that sometimes comes and they don't really understand how. And I think of late, you see them up late into the night, watching for longer because a threat from within lately has been their own dreams of this very village in ruin. Something that they have sworn they will not allow.
Camera lingers on Visalia staring out into the darkness of the woods, her eyes adjusting. And then you see a familiar figure come from the darkness to the fire, having carried some water and food from the canteen. Diego, if you would describe Rovin, the choices you made on your playbook, and any further description to bring him to life.
You see Rovin walking towards the fire. He's got a quarterstaff slung across his shoulders on one side, a bunch of little water skins that he passes out to the group around the fire. On the other, little meal packs, food that is still warm, that he begins to dole out. Rovin is the newcomer to the group. And though he is happy right now being of service to like feed people, he's a little itchy in his new coven robes that he's had to borrow for when he came to this community a little under a month ago. He was already in tatters from the wilderness. But he's found a lot of comfort and joy here already. As he finishes passing out the food and water, he sits down on his own little spot by the fire next to the warden, Visela. And he begins kind of just talking, chatting. His ability to be fluent in dozens of languages have made him kind of someone that's easy to talk to in this community, especially since folks tend to be from a little bit of all over. And you can see that as he's chewing his food, he's cutting it up with a knife, an obsidian knife that has these intricate carvings. This is something that Rovin always keeps on his person. After he's finishing chopping up his food and eating and joking with everybody, he finds comfort in the way he usually does by gossiping and chatting with a drunken carpenter. Soon their conversation just becomes a bit more of a joking back and forth as Rovin begins to juggle a couple of seed pods that he found on the ground.
And your drunken carpenter's name is Euthrid. As I'm going to make a move as the Witches of Haven setting element, and I'm going to introduce a character from Haven. So Euthrid is about 6'2", 6'3", 300 pounds of solid muscle. He often he's built all of the furniture. He's built some of the newer structures. Raised beds, like anything that is just like standard, that has, woodworking or construction. He does a little bit of metalworking because this is Star Wars. It's the future. He knows a little bit about tech. What a carpenter is in Star Wars is, we could be a little flexible here. and he's got a long brown beard, long brown hair that he keeps up in a top knot, a leather apron that he wears over a long sleeve tunic, and form-fitting trousers that have red stripes on the side. He's originally from Corellia, which is the same planet as that Han Solo is from, and essentially has been here since his early 20s, and he's now in his 40s. And Kizzy, that his escape pod crashed here some years ago, and you were able to nurse him back to health, and he's been stayed with the Coven and helped, build half the new homes in your little village, and has come to understand the ways of the thread through his architecture, even though he's not as strong as yourself, or even Rovin. He's got a good heart. So, I have plenty of new brew to share with you all, now that the little ones have been tucked away in bed. How does everyone feel about some drinks tonight?
Honestly, Youthred, I thought you'd never ask. I take out like a small tin cup, and I just hold it up to be ready to be filled.
All right, so this is a very special recipe of fruit ale from Corellia. And he just kind of pours this sort of amber colored fluid into your cup.
Thank you very much. I'm always glad that you and I found each other, Youthrid. Sometimes things can seem a little intense around here. It's nice to kind of just have a guy I can just joke around with.
Of course. Mother Kizzy, drink for you.
And she kind of beckons him over. Come.
Yeah, he jumps over, he leans in close.
Puts her mug chalice out. Come on, don't be shy.
All right, he pours you a full up to the surface, just like you like it.
Perfect. And she brings it in just how I like it.
Warden, Visalia, are you finally drinking with us tonight, or are you going to say no again for the 1,000th time?
Come on, the entire month I've been here, I've never seen either of you cut loose.
Drink.
This is peer pressure.
You see, just not even turning to you, just a grunt. You just hear a low grunt at first. And I think I'll lean into a weak move here, which is just push someone away. Just, responsibility and duty first. And just
take a token.
The only responsibility and duty you have tonight is to enjoy yourself.
I will look at you, and with one eye, there's an eye roll, and head back to the forest. But I will at least take my water skin off my hip and raise it to you, in at least a token of shared drink.
And she nods.
Nuria, a drink for you?
I think just a small one tonight.
Finally, there we go.
Atta girl.
He pulls out a little ceramic taster cup that he has for these exact occasions, when someone just wants a small amount, or when someone is unsure of what he's brewed and doesn't want to commit a full tankard, and he just pours it into the small one. He's like, just get it back to me whenever you like. And he
Thank you.
hands you this little thimble.
Yeah.
For those who do drink, it is warm, appley,
Mm.
and almost like a apple cognac, almost, and just kind of warms you down to your toes on this incredibly cool night. I'm going to make the move. Show people nearby. You're not necessarily the only ones up. There are some other adult, community members that are kind of around. Some of them have smaller fires nearby. People are just kind of murmuring in conversation, but there's like a tenseness in the air as almost everyone is having a side conversation about their dreams. Or rather, nightmares that they have been having over the past 6 months. How do you all respond?
And we just kind of overhear this conversation.
Yeah, it's sort of like, when you're at like a bonfire or a party and it's like you guys are like your group, but
Yeah.
there's other pockets of people around. Because nobody, like, you're in a close-knit community. Nobody really has secrets here, unless Buried Sins and Secrets would like to make a move. But for the most part, everyone is just talking about these nightmares that everyone has been having.
I think Kizzy is tuning in to the conversations, and there's a wash of deep concern and worry that comes over her as she, kind of frustrated, like in frustration, kind of like spits into the fire.
Whoa, wait, party foul, Mama Kizzy, what's wrong?
Not good. It's not good. These last 6 months, it deeply, deeply worries me.
6 months, I only been here one. Mind filling me in here?
The Coven is plagued. Nightmares, terrors. I haven't seen anything like it in, well, longer than you've been alive.
I don't doubt that. But what, these are just nightmares, just dreams, eh? It can't hurt us.
So young, so naive. Nightmares are a manifestation of a greater power, a greater darkness. Something that we've strived for many, many years to get away from. We were given a second chance last time. Can I make a play with that?
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm learning how do we make our plays. Oh, let me go back to my notes.
Also, totally
while you-
deciding that Rovin is like a guy from Jersey or something.
I love
I'm
it.
just in this coven.
Listen, we had Bill Burr in space, okay? If we can have mass holes in space, we can have New Jersey in space.
There
Yep.
it is.
But yeah, I think there's something deeply wrong with the nightmares, and it's pulling on this second chance that the Coven has gotten. And I'm trying to find in my notes, dearest GM,
Yes.
what making that move will do, setting moves.
The setting element. You're doing Whims of Magic, so
Mm-hmm.
So which move would you like to do? Make the mundane magical, encourage someone to grant your desires, introduce
Okay.
a dangerous supernatural character, warp reality in strange and eldritch ways.
Got it. Okay. So I take another swig. I swish it around, and I spit it into the fire the same way you would see, much of like root workers or like hoodoo workers, spitting the liquid out upon their sigils. And as that happens, this kind of like imagery, shadows kind of start playing in the fire, and you see
Whoa.
great, like not so much a a battle, but great sorrow. And it kind of like the imagery speaks to you almost on an emotional level. I'm like, you see,
Yeah, the smoke looks sad.
there was great sadness. The nightmares are bringing back that sadness.
I
I
mean,
think as you say this too, you hear Visalia just speak up and just, it is a delicate balance, honoring the visions while also not allowing them to consume.
yeah, it's a hard balance to strike. You gotta be careful, stay on your toes, you know, ready for the old 1-2. I mean, I guess since we're sharing stuff, I've been having nightmares the past couple of nights too. I see myself on a stone outcropping, surrounded by tall trees, except they're all burnt, blackened. Soot hangs in the air. And he like takes a moment, like gestures to Euthrid for like a little refill, like jingles his cup a little bit. And as the cup is refilled, and I keep seeing my mother. She's he kind of trails off as like he begins to take a sip of that.
Euthrin looks at you concerned. I thought you said you left her ghost behind.
Yeah, but just because you leave a ghost behind doesn't mean it leaves you behind. Yeah. It's tough, you know. I lost my mother when I was young. And I can't remember what her face looks like or what color her eyes was. I can still remember the shape of her, you know. I haven't seen that. I haven't had a dream about my ma since I was 10 and 4. I don't know. I don't know what this means. It's been years since I've seen my mother. And I think this is me making a play as well, revealing dangerous information. Is it right? Oh yeah, unwittingly reveal a dangerous secret.
Well,
I,
do you think it's because of your ability to use the thread? Do you think that's why she was killed?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was probably like this tall. He's like gestures to like the height of like an infant. I was that tall when my mom died. You know, was raised by the other kids in old Newark. It just got kind of difficult from there. You know, we didn't really talk about the things that hurt us. But I mean, ever since I gotten here, I've gotten better at it. And he grabs a couple more seed pods and tries to like force juggle them. And like it kind of goes up in like one arc, and then one falls on his head. Another seed pod falls in the flames and like snaps and crackles. He's like, "I'm working on it."
Visalia, what were you going to say?
just as someone very in touch with the dead, hearing this perhaps for the first time, I think I get intrigued. I turn away from the forest for a moment and listen, and just the dead will tell you what they want. You just have to be willing to listen.
Wait, can you turn around from the back of the forest? I couldn't hear that last part.
Another big eye roll. The dead will tell you. You just have to listen.
I mean, I don't know what the dead can tell me that the living can't. There never was one much for ghosts, but I guess, yeah, stranger things have happened.
And it is exactly... Go ahead.
Oh, no, please, you.
It is exactly that attitude as to why the dead have not provided you with the things that you need. And it is exactly that attitude why your mother lingers.
Wait. You think this is actually my ma here showing up in my dreams? Well, it did feel real.
The threat is mysterious. We cannot cipher it, for it will tell us what we need to know.
I think I want to make a move as the dark forest, since our valiant warden is currently looking over there.
All right.
You can see that a small mammal has begun to like come out of the forest. It's like, let's say, like about the size of a deer, maybe some like stubby little horns on its head, and you can see a very clear like grazing blaster wound on its back left hip, as it kind of limps just within sight of the warden. It's like still like far out in the forest, but like you're the warden, so you got like eagle eyes, or I guess Millennium Falcon eyes.
I think when I hear those a branch crack as it comes out, you see my head just whip, my long braid whipping with it. And if I can take one of my regular moves here, which is take action, leaving myself vulnerable, you see my one good eye glaze as I go into one of my watchful birds. So I cannot like see as myself in this moment.
Nice.
And send the bird to inspect.
So the bird is up in the tree, and you can see that the animal is kind of limping along with this blaster wound on it. And then you hear very faintly click, 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 like a signal. Do you command the bird to fly deeper into the forest?
I do, if it's willing.
The bird nods and flies deeper into the forest. And you look, and you can see an individual that is kind of like dressed in a way that they're blending into the forest, but the bird's like clear night vision can penetrate that, and you see them with what looks to be like a signal booster in their hand, a blinking red light, as they've set it on the ground, and you can hear like a faint pulse coming from it. I'm going to take a facilitator's prerogative, and while I'm not taking the setting element from you, I'm going to make a move using the setting element of the galaxy beyond. And I am going to invade a sacred space. As all of a sudden, you all hear a ship fly over the forest and start heading towards the small trading settlement beyond the immediate wilderness. And you recognize, particularly you, Nuria, that is an old Imperial carrier. And the reason why you recognize it, Nuria, is because you're the one who's most recently been on pilgrimage. And you know that a dangerous group known as the First Order has been on the rise. They were not the ones that harmed you, but you recognize their ships. Kizzy, you're old enough to remember the days of the Empire. You have not seen a ship like that in decades.
I stand and I clench my chest, and I turn as if there's someone standing next to me, and like stop as if I'm listening, and I'm like, trouble has come.
Ma, what do you mean?
Everyone in the gathered group falls quiet and turns and looks to you.
A ship like that hasn't been seen since the wars. Trouble has come. We have to be diligent.
Is it the New Republic? Is it Jedi?
I fear it is not.
What else could it be?
Darkness.
Anyone else feel that chill in the air? Or was it just me? He gets kind of nervous and like pulls up his like cloak a little tighter around him.
Euthrin is like, there's definitely a chill in the air, son.
Well, I mean, they can't find us, right? I mean, we got the warden keeping an eye on things. In this moment, I turn to look at the warden. What does it look like when you're like warged into your birds?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just go very still, and it's just almost like this like glistening like film comes over my one good eye. But I think as you say that, because I can still hear, and you say, well, they can't find us, right? You see my eye go back to normal, and I say, they won't be able to in a moment. And I'd like to spend my token to make a strong move here.
Yeah.
As you see me essentially like mount over the wall, and I'm going to use the strong move, ruin someone who threatens the community. And you just see me take off into the woods to go destroy that signal tracker.
I'm gonna also spend my token that I got from unwittingly revealing a dangerous secret to do anything to prove yourself. I'm like, oh damn, looks like it's time to go, and I like grab like a bunch of like supplies and stuff and like just bound after you.
So in this moment, the two of you have narrative control of this outcome. You rush forward, you arrive in this clearing. Nuria and Kizzy, do you follow them, or do you want to participate as your setting elements?
I'm also happy to trade my setting element if somebody wants to take over the village in this moment.
The galaxy.
Yeah. I'll take the village.
Okay, you're gonna take the village. How about you, Garnet? What would you like to do?
I was actually going to use my setting element here for a moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Seeing, and I know I'm not technically supposed to use it as my character, but I'm not really sure how to do this without doing so.
No, go ahead.
Basically, it's kind of an accident, but upon seeing the ship, what I want to happen is expose something hidden. And parts that Nuria kept to herself, even after, Mother Kizzy helped heal her and everything else, parts of that she kept hidden are accidentally projected onto Mother Kizzy. So you see bits of the torment that Nuria went through at the hands of people walking out of those ships.
Kizzy like falters and
Yeah, you can see like stormtroopers trying to kidnap her. Like it's very like disturbing.
Let's see what I want to do with that. I guess I can do a weak move in response to that, yes?
Absolutely, yeah. What weak move would you like to do?
I would like to take responsibility for someone else's issues. And as I'm feeling all of these things, I kind of like hobble towards sorry, brain.
Nuria.
I was gonna say Garnet, Nuria. I have to keep it open. I hobble towards Nuria and I'm like, the things that they've done to you are no longer going to be yours. And that pain that you feel, there will be justice.
Sorry, you
What
never
was
get
that?
past it.
Speak up.
I'm sorry, it's not something that I don't think I can ever fully get past, but I was never intending to burden anyone with the things that I saw.
It is not a burden. And no, you will never get past it. But it will not be yours to bear. We are in this together.
I guess, and I would also like to make a weak move, and just, I don't know how much help I'm going to be, because if I can't see them again,
I know.
I will either falter or lose control, and I don't know which is more terrifying.
It is my fault that you left this coven on your pilgrimage not ready to face these things that were thrust upon you. And whether you are able to falter or lose control or what have you, it is no longer upon you. I will take this from you. And she kind of like lays a hand on some of the scars on her face. I may not be able to physically take them, but this will no longer be your weight.
And I'm going to make a move as the thread. And I'm going to make... I'm going to make the mundane magical, because you touch her with that intention. You can feel the energy of that trauma just sort of transfer Nuria from you into Kizzy. Nuria, how does this happen? How does this manifest?
There is like a black mist with like a sickly green undertone that is pulled from the scars on her face and sort of wrap around Kizzy's hand and wrist before sinking into her.
And Kizzy, you feel it. Like it's there. Like you are the trauma, the pain, but you're strong. You're ancient. This is the power of many, as there are many other members of the Coven around, standing there in solidarity and in support. Speaking of Coven members, the Warden and the newcomer, you are both heading into the forest with two double whammies of strong moves. You come upon... Do you want to come upon the signal, or do you want to come upon the person who set the signal?
I think if they're not together, like if we're getting to a point where we'd have to separate.
It's all good. Let's have them be together. That's more narratively interesting.
Oh, either way. Okay.
So they're standing in the clearing, watching over the signal, and are completely caught off guard by the two of you coming out of the shadows. How do you approach? Remember, you've got the upper hand here.
I'll look back to you, Rovin, and just kind of put a finger to my lips and like beckon for you to like head behind like a tree nearby for a bit more of a stealthy approach.
Yeah, I give you
and
one.
I think full baseball signal.
Yes.
And we hadn't really established like a weapon for me, but in this moment, a bow and arrow is feeling really great. So,
Oh yes, yes.
I think you see me pull that out, and just also go behind a tree. And I don't think there's a whole lot of hesitation here. Strong move is ruin someone. So, I think my instinct is to just shoot them.
All right. So you pull out the bow, and it's Star Wars, right? So like it's like a little like rod, and you squeeze it, and then it kind of unfurls quietly. You draw back the arrow and fire it, and there's almost a wave of thread energy as you are harnessing the thread and imagining the utter ruin of this person that is threatening. And woof, and to those who can see, Rovin and Vasilia, you can see the threads of force energy waving and dancing around the arrow and slamming into this intruder, and it pins him into the next tree, and he's just like, oh!
Hey, that
And
guy ain't getting up, is he? Yeah.
and the arrow detonates with cackling lightning, and then doosh, they fall to the ground with all these like burns, just smoking. The crackling lightning having like shorted out the signal temporarily. However, Rovin, you've seen these repeaters before. You know that it's only a matter of time before it resets. What do the two of you do?
So there's the repeater, which is the signal. There's the person who just got obliterated.
Yeah,
What is
they're on the ground with a whole bunch of like, it looks like they were struck by lightning, essentially. Like
Yeah,
the arrow fired and then detonated with force lightning, essentially, and the person just
Nice.
dropped.
Can I see like how the person is dressed and like what they and look through their body?
You look over the body, and the person is dressed in what looks to be some kind of like scouting outfit. There's like reinforced patches of armor that just got punctured by this arrow, and a weird sigil that your character doesn't recognize, but our audience would as the first order patch.
Hey, this is the second one of these guys we've killed since I've got here. When do you think it's time to tell the others about this, Warden?
I think as you say that, I look at you and just say, right now.
Right
Go.
now. Oh, geez. All right. And I grabbed like the little patch and I like cut it off of the uniform.
And run
I'm
back.
like, okay, yeah, and I run back to the forest or back to the our village.
Back to the village. All right, Vasilia, are you staying there to try and disarm the signal repeater, or are you running back?
I'll be a little bit behind. I think, would Rovin have told me that this is a temporary thing and that the signal
Yeah,
will
Rovin,
come
do you
back
mention
on?
that, or do you just skedaddle?
Oh, I think I just followed orders. I think I was like, let's look at the body. We're telling everyone like shit's going down, and I just headed out of there. I guess I would have that inherent knowledge of it. I don't know how much the warden knows, but I like to imagine that maybe it was still like beeping or making noises as I left, even though I didn't explain further about what this repeater is or does.
Right, right. You know what? That is a weak move, which is submit to another's authority.
Nice.
So go ahead and take a token as you just...
Thank you.
head on out.
I just like being told what to do, and I keep like running through the forest.
Um,
And you're headed back to the fire, right?
Yeah, I'm heading back. Suddenly, like, eventually you see me like crashing through the tree line into the forest. The warden and I, we killed a guy. The second guy we killed another guy like a month ago, but we didn't tell you about it. They're here. I don't know who they. And I just hold up the patch, and I'm like in the firelight, waving it around.
I think I can jump in as the witches of the Haven here.
yes,
and
yeah, go ahead.
use the move, show people nearby. And as you say this, I think it's a little bit of panic. And they get up from their campfires, and some start packing in to move to safe havens. With a couple others starting to question.
Yeah, Euthrin is like, things have escalated. Mother Kizzy, shall I take the children to the temples by the sea?
She stops a moment and she holds out her hand for the patch
Yeah, here you go, Ma.
and takes it in her hand. And let's see, I have Village Beyond and I've got. Okay, I'm gonna do a strong move and invoke a powerful tradition or rule. And as I clench it, I'm like, yes, take the youngsters. There is power there. They will be protected. No one except the Coven can enter.
Okay. And like you harness the energy of the Force Nexus that you have built your community on, and it just sends out, and you know that there's this powerful force barrier now on the Seaside Shrine. And Uthrin is like, I need you to do me a favor and look after Kizzy, Nuria, and Vasilia. I'm gonna help with the kids. Can I rely on you?
Oh, me? Yeah, absolutely.
This is the most serious that you have ever seen Uthrin get. Like, normally he's like, build stuff and drink.
Yeah. You're kind of scaring me here, but it's gonna be okay, right? I mean, y'all survived stuff like this before, huh? Uthra, please say something. You're scaring me. I'm really scared.
Has survived things like this. Nuria has survived things like this. And if you're with them, you'll make it out safe.
All right. I mean, I'll do what I gotta do to keep folks safe.
You're more powerful in the thread than I am. Remember that.
All right.
And
you keep some of that ale ready for us after this is all over. What are you talking about, a key?
It's complicated, kid. Just remember, you're strong.
I'm strong. I like put my hand on Uthrid's shoulders, give it like a nice cordial squeeze. And I'm like, all right, be safe there, bud. I'll see you on the other side.
On the other side. And he heads off with a bunch of the other people to get the children and head towards the Seaside Temple. Warden, it's at this point that you make it back to the fire. Did you decide what you wanted to do with the booster? Did you want to bring it with you? Did you want to kick it over? Did you want to examine it?
I think I was going to say I wanted to invoke a weak move here of mine, which is watch for too long. And I think that I stay in that clearing a little extra and like do like some reconnaissance and like probably should be going right back. But since I was not aware that it was going to be coming back online, like I take my time.
Yeah. All right. So take a token. You're looking around. You As at that point, you notice and it just starts blinking again. And you hear this weird sound. And you see what looks to be like a red. At first, what you think is maybe like a drone of some kind, like with a red light. And the sound is getting louder and louder. It's getting closer and closer. And closer and closer. And then you realize that's not a drone. And you see in the air a red dual-bladed lightsaber propelling like a helicopter.
Whoa.
And a person hanging from it in beautiful black was that Beskar? Oh god, the armor the Mandalorians use.
Beskar.
Beskar, but like treated with like what you know to be most likely ancient Sith alchemy, because it is black. It is shaped. Oh wait, we have some redemptions. Oh, okay. And I'm going to make a setting element move, and I'm going to invade a sacred space. As dropping down from the sky, you see this individual. They have a full mask, a slender form, and this black kind of like, almost like lamellar body armor, hooded like half cloak over it. The mask is similar to like Darth Revan and Knights of the Old Republic. So it's angular with like an indentation in the middle, and darkness underneath. And they've got this like dual-bladed lightsaber on like a circular propeller. And they're just standing there looking at you silently.
I will lock eyes with them and start slowly crossing and kind of like, shifting my position, using one of my regular moves, which is to bar the way. And I just,
Ooh.
even though I'm far away, I know the positionality of my back towards my coven. And I just move. And as I do, you see me reach to my hips and pull out the equivalent of two like force daggers, and just say, I am the warden, and square up.
There is a clash as the music swells, and these daggers made of pure force energy are clashing with this this lightsaber, which is spinning around. And like at certain points you get, slashed across the face and burned, ducked, slammed into the tree, but you are too fast. You move with the essence of the thread, and this dark force user is not getting past. And with that, we're going to take a break.
Nice.
We will be back in 15 minutes, since we're doing our break 5 minutes early. We shall see where this invasion by the First Order and the Knights of Ren into this sacred space leads us.
Last year, this event helped raise money for Black Girls Code, a nonprofit organization that focused on engaging African American girls and other youth of color with computer programming education to help nurture their careers in the tech industry. This time around, our weekend-long BIPOC Star Wars TTRPG charity event is raising money for the Marsha P. Johnson Institute, an incredible organization that focuses on protecting and defending the human rights of Black transgender individuals by, quote, organizing our community, advocating for our people, creating an intentional healing space, developing transformative leadership, and promoting our collective power. With the state of the world, we want to highlight and reiterate that trans lives matter. Black lives matter. And remember that donating is amazing. It's fantastic. But only one step in making actual change. Actively being the change you want to see in your communities is important. Change in your conversations. Change in your advocacy. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
And we're back. So, when last we left our coven, our warden was in a pitched lightsaber battle using not a light. Is it a pitched lightsaber versus force blades battle with one of the Knights of Ren out in the forest. The youth Ren and the majority of the community are waking up the children and retreating to the seaside shrine as a safe haven after an incredibly powerful thread enchantment was cast by Kizzy. But we're going to rewind for just 2 seconds as our 3 other members of the coven, our unburned, our elder, and our newcomer, witness the strange helicopter propeller lightsaber individual flying through the air heading towards the forest. And what is Kizzy's response?
Kizzy sees this humanoid helicoptering, propelling themselves forward, and with a swiftness that most couldn't even see in the darkness, makes her way up to the warden. I'm gonna, like, I guess maybe like the warden gets pushed back at one point, you know, dramatic foot back, you know, sliding through the dirt, breathing heavy, and then just a hand ends up on your shoulder as I kind of like usher you very softly back behind me. And I look to this intruder, and I'm gonna go with a weak move first, and I'm going to look them dead through their visor as if I'm looking into their eyes and be like, this was quite a foolish decision. And then,
Take a token.
I take a token, but then I'm immediately going to give my token back. And I'm going to kind of like reach into my robes as if I'm grabbing something. And then I'm going to throw my hand outwards. And I'm going to use my strong move of wield your legacy like a blade. And I'm going to use like a force kind of like bolt of a blade to fling it into the intruder.
The blade like flies through the air, slams into them with such force that they hit a tree, and the tree cracks in half and falls into the ground. And you can hear them like on the ground, just like wheezing, barely alive.
And I turn to seemingly nothing next to me, and I go, "Yes, I know that was your favorite tree." And look back at the crumbled person.
I'll look at you kind of wide-eyed, but then nod in deep respect and say, "We must get back. I can lock the gate."
Yes, go. I don't move, though.
You're not going to move. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I got it. It's fine. All right, so who is moving and grooving?
I think I will push back. I mean, one of my weak moves is make yourself an unnecessary obstacle. And I
Take
think
the token and say what's in your heart.
You know, I mean, I look at you. I think I'll grab your arm and I'll just say, "It is my job to protect all of us."
Correct. Now go protect all of us.
I want to take a move as the Force, if I may.
Yes.
I want wherever the elder steps, wherever Ma steps, I want the flowers to, like, the foliage, the plant life, the flora around her to like grow and blossom. Kind of this is the present a trail in any direction and say how hard it is to travel. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a very easy path to follow. Should that path be traveled.
I think if I see the forest rise up around you and answer your call, that I will begrudgingly leave you, knowing you have a path back.
Good. Now go.
While you take another step, Ma Kissy, like everything begins to like that bioluminescence of like the flowers, like little motes of spores in the wind just begin to drift and coalesce around you. It was a cold night around the fire, but suddenly feel like the warmth of a tepid spring.
Well, and I hold my position. I'm 10 toes on business.
In this moment, you hear the sound of speeders coming through the forest. Who is following Visenya back towards the bonfire? And who is staying with Kizzy?
I think it was just the two of us out there because I already sent Rovin
Nuria,
back.
yeah, okay. So Nuria, you stayed by the fire?
Yeah, Nuria stayed by the fire, and I did so because I would like to make a. I'm going to ask if I can do something first, and then I'll probably end up making a weak move.
Okay.
So we saw this figure come down out of the sky with their saber copter.
Yes.
Can
like a sky dancer.
Yes. Can I maybe pull a little bit of thread to track where they came from?
Yes, absolutely. You could.
So I would love to do that, and I guess my weak move is to put myself in harm's way because I'm going to follow that to wherever they came from.
Okay, so you pull on the thread, and you can see where their journey began in the settlement, in the next settlement over. And while all of this confrontation is happening, you're able to move, guided by the thread itself, through the forest, just in time to get to the edge of the settlement to see where the ship has landed and to see two individuals. A young man in the same similar black armor with a mask, but his has the eye, like it's a band across the eyes for his. With strapped to his back a black and chrome like metal staff is on his back. And a feminine figure in similar, more form-fitted armor. Also that strange kind of black polished Beskar with a full hood and long cloak and boots. And they're both on what look to be like custom speeders. And then following them also on speeder bikes are what look like stormtroopers, but their armor isn't white, it's black. And they have like this weird kind of like tubing coming out and these long like, rifles, rifle blasters that are hooked onto that are so big like they can't carry them. They're like latched onto the side of their speeders. And for those who are fans of A Galaxy Far, Far Away, while Naria might not know it, these are Death Troopers. And there's 9 of them.
9?
9?
9?
As in one less
9
than
of-
10?
You're like German for none of them.
Yes, there's
I took 9.
no, there's 9 of them. And they're getting
nice.
ready to deploy into the forest.
Should have sent more.
Okay. So wait, if I may clarifying question, is this happening at the village, at our village?
No, this is happening at the settlement that
Yes,
is
that's-
past your village, that
Gotcha.
is past the woods. Naria
So-
essentially
yeah.
used the thread
Yes.
to rocket herself through the forest to get to where heliocopter lightsaber Knight of Ren came from.
Amazing. Got it.
Naria, you are in
Can they
danger.
see me?
Can they see you? Not at the moment, but you are in dire danger. You can sense dark force energy emanating from the other two and a strangeness coming from those stormtroopers.
Knowing where they are, seeing how many they are, knowing that we have at least 12 adversaries now because the lightsaber wielder went that way, and then we've got 11 more people over here. I am just going to use my regular move and run away. I'm just going to take off back to where I came from. I have information now.
All right. You are rushing back through the forest to... It's a great move, by the way. You know the forest better than they do. They may be on speeder bikes, but you understand the pathway through. As I'm going to make a move as the thread and make the mundane magical as you follow the trails of the thread back to the haven as fast as their speeders can carry them. And you're going to have just enough time to warn your coven mates before they arrive. What do you say to Visenya and Coven when you appear from the darkness?
They're going to find us. We need to fortify the walls.
That I can do. And you'll see Visalia start to walk toward the walls that they helped build. Rovin, did you want to do anything before I?
No, I think I want to support that. I want to spend my token to delve into experimental magic. I think I'm gonna remember my carpenter friend's words and just think Uthred said he believed in me. Yeah, maybe there is something to these threads of the Force. And I begin to try to lift with my hands. I begin to just gesture. And at first you just see the seed pods around us begin to rise, but I'd like to see if I can maybe even just get some roots and foliage to
describe
rise
it.
up.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
describe it. You made a strong move. So what happens with the roots and the foliage?
Yeah, the roots of the trees begin to grow longer, thicker, woodier as the earth churns, and you can see walls of thorns and of wood and leaves and little vines begin to kind of thread into a bit of a dome, not entirely opaque. There's definitely cracks through it, but it is providing modest cover such that the light of the moon is significantly dimmed.
Ooh. All right. As you see the newcomer channeling, and it's interesting because it's being amplified because there's a force nexus underneath you. So it's an incredible feat of the thread. Visenya, what are you doing to further fortify?
Yeah, I think in this moment, I turn to look at you, and it's probably one of the first times you've ever seen me broadly smile. And as I walk forward to place my hands on our walls, you hear me say one of my regular moves, which is, "Would the dead like to join us?" And then I will spend a token to prepare for the worst and activate one of the defenses I built, which is the skeletons in the walls.
Nice.
It's at that point that I'm going to narrate a little bit.
Yes.
The speeders all start rocketing and making their way. Sahara Wren peels off to the side, going around the settlement, heading to the Seashore Temple. Gareth Wren suddenly senses the presence of a powerful force user and pivots his speeder bike and starts heading straight for Mother Kizzy. The Death Troopers continue forward, ready for a full-on frontal assault, only to be confronted by a small army of skeletons, reinforced with the power of the thread. It is a terrifying sight as the ancestors of the Coven emerge from the walls and swarm over these Death Troopers. Undead versus undead, clashing in the night with eldritch power. You can feel all of you, the hum and the vibrations, and it's almost like a primal song as the dead have come to defend the living against the dead.
Can I add a
Absolutely.
element from the Dark Forest?
Yes.
This, well, one of the desires of the Dark Forest is to feed. So, very much if we can have the forest, using that eldritch power to have the forest feed upon the fallen dead and deteriorate and absorb them into the ground as if it's necrotically breaking down their materials.
Yeah, no, as these animated skeletons smash and crack and occasionally rust a blaster and fire back, the roots start to come out of the ground and start to deteriorate and break the armor and absorb and devour and rapidly decompose these death troopers. Um, a speeder pulls up in front of you, Mama Kissy, and you see the black armored form. And kind of like it kind of sides, and he off of it, and his mask flips up and back, and you see a young man. Couldn't be any more than 23, 24. Probably young enough to be your grandchild. Reddish beard, slightly curly red hair, intense, dark green eyes, fair skin that has just a little bit of a pink flush underneath it. So, I see you and your coven have decided that you're just going to kill one of my people.
And I'm gonna use a weak move to gain a token and remember an ancient enemy and say, well, your people have been sowing rot and destruction and death through the galaxy for quite some time, longer than my coven has been around. So who is the one creating the real problems here?
We have a common enemy
Oh?
in the Jedi. You should be fighting with us.
The Jedi are no enemy of mine or my coven. The Jedi have caused us no issue, no fallacy. Oof, no fallacy, no problem. Why? I guess it's a regular move of revealing old knowledge.
Yep.
Yep. Well, I ask you again, why?
Jedi betrayed my master, tried to kill him. We found a better way. The First Order will come and restore peace to the galaxy.
Peace. Your kind knows nothing of peace. And I think we have actually a move here.
Oh.
Yeah, the Witches of Haven, our desire is peace. So, oh, what can I do with that? Ooh. Can I have him maybe like hit him almost with a thread of the energy to kind of like give him a brief taste of what real peace feels like?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, what does that look
Nice.
Like? How close is he to me?
Oh, he's like 10 feet.
10 feet?
Yeah.
I lean down, still looking at him, and I grab a bit of earth, and I open my hand as if I like actually blew it, but it releases and it blows towards him and kind of like engulfs around him, much like the mist, the black mist that came from my fellow coven member. And it engulfs around him, much like it did for Nuria. That is what peace feels like. Foreign to you, isn't it?
I feel like also like at the same moment,
Mm-hmm.
the camera zooms out to images of what's happening in the other village where they've landed. And while this person speaks of peace, using the setting element of the village beyond, we see the force and control that is being exerted on those people at this exact moment in juxtaposition.
He like freezes, and you hear a voice that's not his. Do not fall for her witchcraft. This peace is a lie. And like the voice chills you to the bone. It's just filled with dark side energy. And you had him. You had him, but whatever holds this Knight of Ren, this Sith, this dark side acolyte, what are these names? They go by so many different names. Is powerful. And he like and you can feel like the energy like push back, and that staff emerges a lightsaber. Alex. And he like points it at you.
I don't move. I stare it down. I can feel the heat of the saber, and I'm just staring him down. The choices you make today will live with you forever. Choose wisely.
So, in this moment, everyone in the coven hears Euthrin's voice in your mind. The children are helping me. We're in the ship. We're flying away. We're going further away on the planet. We're safe. And you could hear like the voices of all of the children like singing a chant that you had taught them. And you get this sense of Uthrin. You had like an escape pod, an escape ship, essentially. Usually the ship is actually for going to like other parts of the planet for trade. But you can sense that it's flying away. And you snap back to consciousness, Kizzy. And he's like, you might have barred my sister from entering your temple. I'll give you one more chance. Submit to the First Order. Pledge your loyalty. Kylo Ren. And I'll spare your people. Even though they're guilty of the crime of murder. What do you say, Mother Kizzy?
That I say that he mentions Kylo Ren, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that child will pay for the sins of the father's father. That is not something that any of us in our coven will ever have to worry about. You, however, may not last the night. No.
His eyes narrow, and all three of you see a crack and an explosion as the seaside temple collapses in on itself.
I'm trying
No,
not
it's
to
empty.
falter.
Right? We know it's empty, right? We just heard that?
You
Yeah.
know it's empty of the children.
Okay.
Hmm. Then I'm gonna do a final strong move here. Not final, but I'm gonna do a strong move here and then pass along or whatever this person's gonna do next. And I'm gonna do make something last. And I'm going to use that to continue to have the power of like the force barrier withstand itself, so long as it lasts longer than whatever happens next.
Oh, so the barrier that was built by Coven and Visalia. What does that look like? Give me some flavor. Like, how does that
Okay.
manifest? What does Gareth Wren see?
My hands kind of like twitch and claw, and you can see like the orange of my nails kind of like bioluminescent, but as that's happening, there's like this kind of black veiny essence that kind of like starts to like pulsate through my hands. And I take both of my hands and I thrust them into the ground, and that same orange kind of cracking bioluminescence kind of pulsates through the path that our Roven has created, and then back towards the Coven.
Nuria, many things are happening all at once. What are you doing in response?
Is the woman still there? Like as the dead are all fighting?
Are you talking Salazar Wren? Excuse me, Zahara Wren. She's
Yes.
outside the seaside temple. You know where the temple is. You can go there if you like to confront her.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna head there while the others are dealing with that. I am going to run towards that. I am going to just sort of like grab like a piece of wood out of the fire as I go and take it with me, and I'm gonna head to the temple.
You arrive just in time to see the temple crack and start to collapse. And standing there is the black-robed woman with her hand up in the air like this, having just closed it, and you can sense this intense force energy that has just crushed the structural integrity of this building. What do you do?
I am going to use one of my regular moves with this flaming stick that I brought with me, and I'm gonna throw it at her to burn someone or something.
It hits, and then when it hits, it ignites as she's engulfed in flames and just starts screaming, and then and she's just smoking as she just sort of absorbs and dissipates the energy, but definitely not enough to not have gotten burned. She throws off her mask, and you can see there's all these burn splotches all over her face. Her hair is partially burned. It's kind of looking at like an eerie reflection. As she looks you dead in the eye. And unhooking from her sides, two red lightsabers.
Before she can move, I am going to pull thread, and I am going to basically, it's like using D&D terms, like using mold earth, but I'm going to like a shockwave at her to just throw her off balance.
She kind of immediately falls off balance, and just kind of. What do you do as she's off balance? Like, do you want to run away? Do you want to confront her? Do you want to hold her there?
I would like to hold her there if possible, because if she's here with me, then she can't be at the actual like area where people are living. Plus, it'll give if anyone who's still stuck inside the temple an opportunity to get out.
Get out. She goes in with her lightsabers, and then you pull out, and you're pulling the thread, and she's frozen, just standing there looking frustrated, the lightsaber vibrating. And she says, I will break free of this witch.
Maybe.
Back to our guardians. Coven, Visalia, you have this amazing bubble, but you have seen the temple collapse in on itself. You know the children are safe. You know Uthran has gotten them out. But there's still the rest of the Coven. What do you do?
And the rest of the Coven, is like in this village right now. So that's encased in the little.
A lot of them went to the temple. There might still be some people in the village, but at the very least, most of the people from the party earlier went to go get the children.
Gotcha.
And you don't know because you've been in the front lines of this, neither of you know if the whole Coven went into the temple with the children, if some of the Coven went into the temple with the children. The only thing you know for sure is that the children are out and safe on your trade ship. Uthran is piloting the trade ship. Kizzy is outside of the walls. And Nuria is in the village. You don't know who else is alive in the village, and you don't know how many more people were in the temple.
I think just quickly while you're thinking, you see, after having put their hands on, to release this army of ancestors, you see Visela take a regular move, which is just to take action, leave yourself vulnerable, and do the same like working thing they've done before. And I think there's just this like moment of them going into their birds when they realize that there's all these things happening at once, right? There's this fight in front of us. They see Kizzy, they see the temple with Nuria. And I think it triggers a weak move for me, which is become overwhelmed. And you see me just kind of fall to my knees here in this moment and kind of just like roar as I freeze.
I'm gonna take a regular move and ask an obvious question. Are you all right, boss?
I will. Oh gosh, that's hilarious. I will take a weak move here again, and I think in my rage and overwhelm, I look at you and I push you away, and I just say, "You know nothing, newcomer."
I'm gonna take this opportunity to also use a weak move, submit to another's authority, so that I can gain a token. I'll be like, "Yeah, you're right. I don't know nothing. I'm just an orphan kid from Old Newark. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I made this happen. I'm running away from so much. But I'm gonna cash in this token, find something new or previously unseen. For weeks, I've been wondering why that rope is half buried in the dirt. And I pull it up, and there's a hatch down there that looks like it heads in the direction of the Seaside Temple.
Yes, it does.
I've been wanting to do that for a month.
You had only heard about this in rumor, Visalia. Like, your grandfather told you about it, but you just thought he was going senile. And do the two of you go into the tunnel and head to the temple?
Yeah, I'd like to head down there.
Okay.
I think something about this kind of just shakes me, out of it. And I think that in this moment, I know one of the things I'm supposed to play to find out is if death is the final step. And I think of Kizzy and know that if I need to choose between saving her in this moment and going to the Seaside Temple, that she would know what I know what she would want me to do. And very reluctantly, I will follow. But I will, as we leave, use one of my regular moves to bar the way. And so as we go down through this hatch, I will, I think I will just call on the ground to like completely cover it back up.
Right
Nice.
back up.
I'm going to use a regular move to bring up the outside world. Man, that was wild what happened back there, huh? Since we're now underground.
You're just going to grunt.
It's a grunt.
Come on, boss. Sometimes you got to look at life with a new set of eye.
Oh my god.
It's, a new perspective is important.
I actually think when you say that, it's honestly, I do that far more than you would think. Because I'm constantly working into my birds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want to like feel like the earthen wall of this tunnel, like it's like carved out, like half stone, half dirt, and I want to take a weak move and unwittingly reveal a dangerous secret, and just say, "Man, you know." This reminds me of when I was back in the Imperial mines of Old Newark. It was dangerous back there. You have to be careful. We walk around with a tiny little lizard because of the poisonous gases that would be down, underground you might find sometimes. Good thing there isn't anything like that around here, huh?
I think one of my regular moves is to give fatalistic advice.
Yeah.
Do it.
And I think as we're just running and you're talking about this, I'm just like, kid, you gotta stop running your mouth sometimes. Some things are better left unsaid.
I'll keep that in mind, boss. I appreciate it. People always say I talk too much. It's something I've always heard. Back in Old Newark, there was this guy, Big Johnny.
Cut you off. Like, this is what I'm talking about.
So the two of you managed to open this hatch, and I'm gonna make a move as Buried Sins and Secret, and expose something hidden. As you open a hatch to a safe room that a few survivors of the collapse are hiding in, as they're all like meditating, and like there's like 6 of them. They're in the room sitting crisscross, applesauce, quiet, composed, with rocks hovering above them. What
Whoa.
do you do?
I have a question.
Wait, when you say the rocks are
ahead.
hovering above them, it's like the structure of the.
Like they're using their mind
Yes.
to keep the rocks from falling and crushing them.
So one of my strong moves, I think I'm looking for an interpretation rule here.
Yeah.
One of my strong moves is to set something to rest. Now, normally I think that's supposed to be interpreted a little more figuratively, but
Right.
I'm wondering if I can literally set these rocks to rest in this moment by burning a token.
To just kind of make them because they're just hovering in the air.
Yeah, kind of like move them to collapse like to the side or something.
Yes.
Like just make them rest.
100%.
All right, I will
Like
burn a
you're
token.
just spin that and you're just like so Nuria, as you're like holding uh Zara in place, keeping her from attacking you with her lightsabers, you notice a whole chunk of the rubble just fly up in the air and crash over on the side. And you can see part of the temple, a group of your coven mates, like sitting down in meditative pose, with their eyes closed on this floor, and you could see, and you can now see Visenya having just channeled the thread to toss the rocks aside, and you
Upon seeing,
expose open night air.
upon
Yes.
seeing that, I'm
Yes.
going to look at her and go, "You're welcome to break free now if you wish, but I don't think you're going to like what happens next."
Yeah, you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. As I come like stepping out of the temple too.
And then all of the other coven mates like stand up, and it's at this point Zahara is surrounded.
I pick up a crowbar.
Just like a piece of metal on the ground.
Yeah.
Um,
Hold on, sorry. I'm looking at my moves. Go on.
I mean, I have tokens that can take care
I-
of this person, but I also have done this plenty, so I want to leave it to you. Yeah.
Okay. I got do anything to prove yourself. I want to burn this token. And I want to be like, y'all taught me so much about fitting in here over the past month. Y'all really feel like family. And when someone messes with family, that's when things get violent. I like holding this piece of metal in my hands. I want to show y'all the tradition of how we deal with things in Old Newark. And is the night still like frozen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I go just pinata on him and like a traditional Old Newark beatdown?
Yeah, you like go and like just at first it's like really difficult as this bar of metal just kind of deflects off of the armor, and then eventually all of the coven join alongside Nuria, putting up their hands in the exact same way, like in unison, holding her there as you just bam, bam, and knock them out.
Nice. As the helmet rolls off, I like pick it up and I go to the warden. Boss, I wouldn't really be here without you. I want you to have this, and I gift the helmet to the warden.
I will take it and hold it in my hands. But then actually, I'm going to keep my last one, but I'm going to use the other meaning of my strong move to set something to rest.
Ooh.
And more figuratively, I will nod to you and accept this gift, and then I'm going to re-gift it to you and set something to rest, which is your status within this community. And I hand it back to you and say, "Newcomer no more. Welcome to the coven."
You can see like a single like tear welling up in Rovin's eyes. Like, boss, you're too sweet for me. Words fail him, and he just gives you a hug.
It's very awkward. I don't know how to hug back. I'm just, oh.
There is a moment of tension as we jump cut rather, over to Gareth Wren, his axe saber pointed at Mother Kissy's throat. My sister has annihilated your coven. You have nothing left. I could offer you a quick death.
I kind of look at him. Big move. And I'm like, you. Well, it's kind of like it's a weak combined with a regular move, because I'm going to use my weak move to call him ignorant, but also grumble at this youngster into thinking, are you sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you are on our lands. You're in our domain, breathing our air, taking up far too much space. Do you really think I'm going to trust the words of someone like you? So utterly ignorant to the world around you. And then I'm going to use my strong move from that gained token to wield my legacy like a blade yet again. My hands are still in the ground, like as I'm looking up to him and he's got the blade at my throat. And I'm going to kind of like turn my clawed nails towards him, and then I'm going to slash upwards and across and basically go the name's escaping me of the X, which mutant it is with the nails. And I'm going to try to use my nails.
Oh, Lady Deathstrike.
Thank you. It's been a while. And then I'm going to try to cross cut at him.
So, this moment, even though described as a single strike, turns into a dance, a duel, as you slice, cut, and he spins and whirls and slashes as the entire forest turns into a battleground. You harnessing the thread, him harnessing the dark side of the force, jumping back and forth. Long moments, sometimes as long as 5 to 10 minutes of the two of you staring at one another and then lashing out with the pure power of the thread and the force. It moves with fever pitch, and eventually you cut with a claw strike that hits him square in the chest and crashes him into a tree. As he looks like he is about to recover and strike you down in retaliation, his eyes turn solid black, and he faints and falls to his knees on the ground. Kizzy, I want you to describe to me what the High Priestess of your coven looks like as she steps from behind the tree.
As she steps out, I think the first thing that I notice from her is kind of like the flow of her gray, almost like color of the moon robes. She has dark skin, that shimmers almost in the darkness. Tightly coiled locks are just fully adorned, almost like into like a headpiece, or not a headpiece, but like almost like a crown. As she steps out and looks to me, a very stony but knowing gaze on her face. Now, where have you been?
The ancestors were called. And so I'm here.
And I like kind of like crick my back because that was a lot of movement. And the coven needs you more than ever right now.
I know. That's why I heeded the call. He will not be of his mind for a full moon.
Is he dead? Oh, wait, you said a full moon. Haha, no, it's
For a
not dead,
full
sorry.
moon. And he will have nightmares of the terrible things he has done here for the rest of his existence, should you choose to let him live. Kizzy, I'm gone. I was taken and my mortal body was slain. Vengeance has already been taken. It was taken by Coven and the Celia. But they did not know I was dead. I will always be with you. My spirit exists within the thread and is a part of everyone in this coven.
And so you shall join the endless song.
My body
Yes.
is in the bottom of the river, northeast of here. That is why you were not able to find me. The forest kept me hidden away. I am so sorry, Kizzy.
No, I am sorry. I could have done more.
No one believed. The First Order, from what I have heard from the others in the Great Beyond, have been hiding in the outer reaches. Darth Sidious's soul clings to a mortal coil. Still. This First Order is just the Empire remade in a new image. They will not stop. They will invade from the outside and within.
Then I know what we must do. We have to keep the song alive. Keep the coven alive. Long enough to defeat them. Vengeance may have been made, but your death will not be in vain. I will find you. Know this, I will. Kizzy is going to use an ancient power, dark and strange, and she's going to reach out to the spirit, and essentially, like, you can stop me.
No,
Take
go
her
ahead.
hand, and they're going to like kind of pull closer and touch foreheads. I'll always love you. Thank you. Thank you for leading us.
It is up to you now.
I'm not you.
No. You will be different, but no less great. I was a leader for peace. You are a leader for war.
And so, we shall go to war.
I have an important above-table question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with Gareth Wren as he is trapped in his own mind?
Mm.
You have many different choices here.
Mm-hmm.
Do we feel like he is still a threat?
I was gonna say, if something can be gained from him before I make my final decision.
Ooh, I will say the forest, it needs to feed.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Thank you, because that was also going to be part of my final decision. Thank you. Oh yeah. So okay, the warden. Are you near me at this point? Did you come back, or are you?
Well, so what I was thinking, depending on timelines, if we finished up at the temple,
Yes.
and I knew the only threat that was left, the fastest way for me to get to you would have been through my birds. So I actually had been thinking that, like, potentially there is a bird like hovering that kind of maybe witnessed that
Absolutely.
scene.
Yeah. Yes.
And you would know that it's me.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that's happening. Could I be leading folks from the seaside temple back into like the safety of like the
Yes.
covered
100%.
village?
Yes.
Yeah, guys, down this tunnel. Turns out that rope in the middle of the village. Haha, found out what it was for.
Good.
Nuria, what do you do before everyone reconvenes?
Oh, I have fully stripped this woman of her armor and her weapons. She is in the forest, tied to a tree. Not fully butt ass naked, but close enough.
Close enough. Just
yeah,
being
and
left out for the forest to feed?
Yeah, but I have taken her armor for our use, or to, whether we're going to wear it or melt it down into something else.
Love it.
Okay. I beckon Visalia to join me, essentially, at my side.
And my bird will do that in the interim as I make my way to meet up with you.
If anything can be gained from this poor soul, then we should gain what we can for the coming war. But the forest does need to feed. And I'll take my moment and we'll like pause until you join me.
Yeah, and I think as I come up, I look to you and I say, you know, my place is to protect but I do so in a bit more of a physical way. If you would like to toy with his mind, albeit, have at it. Otherwise, I think we have more pressing matters to attend.
I've toyed with enough minds over the years. This poor soul, he has nothing to give. And I hold my hand out and then kind of like beckon the forest to take him.
The trees grumble and groan.
Roots stretch out and wrap around his ankles, and he gets pulled, his eyes still blackened out. You don't know what he's seeing, but he eventually gets subsumed by the forest itself, leaving behind only his staff and his armor as a strange gift from the Force itself.
And I take his staff. And as I do, it kind of like is imbued with this kind of like orange power as it kind of like floats out of me into the staff. And I'm going to... use a weak move and enforce outdated rules and say, this is mine now.
I roll my eye at you.
No one seems to disagree. The coven seems to be in agreement. Finders keepers.
Yep. That's an outdated rule. Usually there's like a process where you have to like lick it to claim it, but like that's, you know.
No. It's definitely finders keepers.
And as is the old tradition, the rest of us become weepers.
Right. Eventually, with your help, I imagine that the First Order troops are driven from the local settlement. Communication is opened, and eventually the children are brought back. Uthrin brings them back on the ship. You collect your dead, including the matron of your coven.
I was going to say, if allowed, I have one last token.
Yes, I was actually about to get to see if there were any little wrap-up moves folks would like to do. What would you like to do with your last token?
Regarding the matron and honoring our fallen, I would like to, I guess this is probably some sort of combination of two strong moves, which is set something to rest and prepare for the worst. And perhaps turning to Nuria to prepare a pyre. I would like to set our dead to rest and infuse them into our wall of whatever is to come.
You perform this ritual. There's mourning. There is celebration. There are drinks from Uthrin. But there are a few things hovering over the four of you as you realize many of your coven fell in the destruction of that temple. The Knights of Ren and the First Order know where you are. Your children are safe, but for now. And the four of you are now being looked to, even Kovan, because of the actions you took as leadership I would like to wrap things up with one final scene of the four of you sitting at a circular table with a galaxy map in the middle of it, all having officially been acknowledged and voted in as the leadership of this coven. What do you discuss? What are the last things that you say to each other? What are your plans for the future?
I think Kizzy has proposed that we utilize the longest standing tradition of our coven, one that has been lost to time but could be utilized again in times of war, and that we must call upon the magic of the 3 dark days and come together in unity, use the power of our many to strengthen our younglings and those who will come after us, to make a power so strong that the first order cannot stand against it.
I know somewhere safe when we can go. From back where I came from in the Jur system. It's all a tiny little place by the seaside. 3rd planet from the sun. Not Jur A. Not Jur B. Jur C. The shore will give us refuge.
Wise.
Sorry, I lost it.
This is wise.
Nuria, what do you have to say to the plan? Coven's talking about going to a place of safety. Kizzy is talking about drawing upon more power to fight back against the First Order. What do you bring to the table?
While finding a place of safety is probably a smart move, we are strongest here where our ancestors are. So, scouting the galaxy for more of our kind may be better to bring them here. We can't be the only people like us. We can't be the only witches in the galaxy. If we could find them, we could all be safe without losing our home. The world, the galaxy is frightening. I am a testament to that. But that doesn't mean we have to be afraid. And she is going to ask Rovin for his knife.
Yeah, sure. Here you go. I flip it out. I actually drifted over to you with a little bit of force. Yeah, getting pretty good at that.
And she's going to take it and she's going to shear her locks at about shoulder height.
Looks good on you.
Thank you.
If there are any among us who have the fortitude, the strength, and the power to bring witches to us, it is you.
Boss, what do you think?
I think the dead are everywhere. If we needed to call upon them in other places, we could. But I agree that we are strongest where our ancestors lie. I think Nuria, Rovin,
Yeah.
our witch, are unburned, and their protector should take our ship and take to the skies, looking for allies. Mother Kizzy and I, we will build walls like they have never been built before. And when the First Order comes, we will be ready. The power of many.
The power of many.
Power of many. And with that, so concludes the story of the Coven of Cyrus and a galaxy far, far away, embracing the power of many. Thank you all so much for going on this journey.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for the donations. Lots of fun setting elements used. It was great. I have been Hector Reyes, aka Okami, Keiichi Okami, all over the internet. I have been your facilitator. We have lots of more amazing games coming up. Please, check Nightbot, the chat, for what's coming up, and keep an eye on the Taletell Heart social media. We've got another game coming on later tonight, and then more tomorrow, and I believe one more on Sunday. May the 4th proper. So please, everyone, donate. You can find me if you're interested in more stuff that I'm doing over at keiichiokami.itch.io over on Blue Sky, or at keiichiokami on Instagram. Next thing I'm doing, we're going to be on, if you want to know more about me and my channel, House of Dreams, I'm going to be on Diversity Saves tomorrow at 2:30. So if you're free, come out, watch me and my fellow directors get interviewed, and we're going to talk about all the cool projects we're having, which includes my Wanderhome series, A Season's Oath, which is on Sundays, 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. So I'm going to pass off to my players. Please tell us who you are. Tell us where we can find you. Plug one project or more if you have more. And see us out. I'm going to start with Diego.
Hey there, y'all. Diego F. Salinas here. If you want to check out my Twitch streams, I've been streaming Baldur's Gate right now at Salvador Alien. You can also find me on Blue Sky at Salvador Alien, or Instagram, just my name, Diego F. Salinas. And if you want to play D&D together, either come visit the 20-Sided Tavern in New York City before it closes on May 11th, or check out my website, foreverdm.xyz. I would love to run a D&D game for you. Peace, love.
All right. Next, Kizzy.
Well, hey, this was a lot of fun. Thanks so much, everyone who donated and was here. I'm Benny Mitchell. You can find me on Instagram as Benny Mitchell. You can find me on Blue Sky as Benny Mitchell. I'm one of the founding members of Obsidian Brews, a Black tabletop experience. We travel across the country doing live games, panels, and generally trying to support and bring opportunity and a love of the game to Black gamers and creatives alike. You can find Obsidian Brews. We're going to be doing a Baldur's Gate live stream soon. That's coming. First talks of it. We will be at MomoCon, Gen Con, and Dragon Con doing lots of programming. So please, if you're at any of those cons, please come and join us. And always show love and support to all of the players here, Taletell Games. And I guess my final thing I'll say is free Palestine, free Congo, and free Sudan.
Amen.
All right, Garnet.
Hey y'all, I'm Garnet. I have been Nuria, and this has been such a lovely experience. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to join all of you today. And with this awesome weekend, I'm very excited to see the other games. I couldn't watch last night because I was busy doing a recording session for a game that's going to be coming out in June for Pride Month. So you can find out about that and a bunch of the other recordings that I've been doing on my Blue Sky, where you can find me at my government name, Ashton Brienne, on Blue Sky, or some of y'all are really weird and want to do my Instagram, that's also same thing. I don't really post there a ton. It's usually just me doom scrolling. But I also need people to keep me accountable. I am so behind on all of my shows, and I like talking about them on Blue Sky. So I'm supposed to be watching Secret Invasion right now, and I just don't have the energy. It's not the show's fault; it's mine. So eventually I'll get back into that. I just need someone to be like, hey, your stuff is funny when you're talking about things you're watching, so can you keep that up? Anyway, that's what I'm doing. Otherwise, I'm just chilling. Come hang out. I think I'm funny.
You're funny.
All right, and
follow that up.
Shrub of Many Hues.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. This was so much fun. And thank you to everybody who donated. My name is Heather Silva. You can find me. My personal page is Shrub of Many Hues, but my professional TTRPG work is through my company, Worlds for All. It's a number 4. You can find us at worldsforall.com or at Worlds for All on Blue Sky and Instagram. For the last year, I've just been creating an in-person community in Massachusetts, playing TTRPGs, creating safer and more inclusive spaces for everybody to play. But I'm also on Start Playing if you want to join one of my upcoming D&D campaigns. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much to our producer, KaosCryptid, and to Wizard Styles, our mod. Without you, this wouldn't be able to be possible. Thank you to Calamity and Pizza Yeti and Emmeline. You've been amazing organizers. Thank you so much. So, thank you all for joining us. And we'll see you again, hopefully next year, in a galaxy far, far away.